Welcome to Montreal Rocks. We're very excited to have on the show once again Gordie Johnson of Big Sugar. Now, there's a big announcement, Gordie. You're touring Quebec.
We're actually doing some more Quebec dates. Yeah, after like 20 years of not being able to play Quebec, it's amazing to get back so many times in a tour cycles. Yeah, we're really pleased to be doing that.
Well, you're going to start on October 9th, going all the way to October 18th. So there's count one, two, three, four, five, six locations. So all from Audubon Park, Lachute, Baie des Fèvres, Chelsea, Lavaltrie, and Sutton. So there's got to be a place that's close to you. Hey, I've been to your show. My wife was just talking about it. We loved it. We had a great time. There's some new songs off, there's the classics. There's the songs off the album that's behind me here, 500 pounds, which is off obviously the album that you're promoting, like a re-release. It's very exciting.
Well, this has been really the last year and a half has been a whirlwind of activity for us based on the Third Man 500 pounds release. Like Jack White has been just like a saving angel for us, just coming in and sort of waving his wand over over our band and the whole project. It's really sparked a renewed interest, uh, not both in Canada and in the United States for us. I mean, we've done a bunch of shows over the past year and a half, just strictly based on his, you know,
I mean, not more at a pat on the back.
reinvigorating awareness of the band and of the record.
I mean, that quote of like, this is the best blues album that came out of Canada was like, something to be proud of, definitely. I want to bring you back a little bit to the making of 500 pounds. Now, this is a while ago, because as you can see in the picture, uh, both you and I were much younger back then, and no beards. But what's one moment in the studio that still plays out in your head like a scene from a movie? Is there like a one memory that you just can't shake of when you created this album?
Well, the funny thing about the record, uh, it is strange that it's probably one of the most misunderstood records in our catalog, where people think of it as more of the, oh, that was more of the blues based record, or like a power trio record. People hear that, harkens back to the late 60s kind of psychedelic heavy guitar playing. But that album is not live off the floor. It's one of the least live records we did because I didn't have a band at the time. It was just me and a drummer.
Hmm.
So I have fond memories of being the bass player on that record, where it was the drums and bass were recorded, like, let's say in February or March of that year. We'd spent a couple of days. Like, we didn't have a huge budget either. It was just really a shoestring budget. The record company let me produce it and said, well, just don't spend too much money. So we were literally in like an old, I don't know if it was like a rust proofing garage or something that was turned into a studio. It was really pretty modest. But they had great gear and it was a great sounding room, and it had really good guys all the guys who worked in that studio really, like, their love of really rad sounds. I think that, that had a lot to do with the sound of the record. Um, but anyway, I have memories of, it's almost like this schizophrenic memory of, I was the bass player on that record in March, but then in May I was the guitar player and singer. So we did, they weren't done all at the same time. We did the drums and the bass and then had to get some more money and come back a month or two later and then do the guitar. And in those days, it wasn't like you got to, upload your files and listen off Dropbox or anything. I mean, I had a cassette tape of the drums and bass to listen to get familiar with the songs that we'd recorded. So when I came back to play the guitar, it was almost like hearing them for the first time, but with a band that somehow intuitively knew what I was going to do. Well, because I was half of the band. And Al Cross on the drums. the guy had such an amazing musical intuition. He could anticipate as a soloist what I was going to do a month later somehow.
So you got to record the album twice.
yeah, I, yeah, I
Basically.
got to be two different guys on the record. So that was it does have it's funny because it's not like I remember, oh, the band hanging out and doing all this stuff. It's like I saw Al for the 1 hour of the day I could get him and could afford to have him come and play, and then he'd leave, and yeah, then came back a month later. And
I think it's also a good lesson that, given creative freedom, you produce like, an epic album. Whereas if the studio might have taken that way, it might have been a very bland album without your personality in there.
it would have been, and there was a few episodes like that in our recording history where the record label brought in a producer who didn't get reggae at all and tried to like rinse all that out of our thing. Where 500 pounds has so much reggae in it, and people don't really realize, but you can almost tear down all of the bass parts from that record and connect them directly to Leroy Sibbles or early Studio One or early reggae and rocksteady classics. People who are into guitar music don't necessarily notice that. I mean, you're not meant to notice. I hear him. It's a big reveal here, but it's like sitting down to eat a great meal. I don't necessarily want to read a list of the ingredients. I just want to taste something delicious.
Hey,
You know
you,
what I mean?
you take that
So
out and it would have been 100 pounds.
it
You
would have just been 100 pounds.
because that's that's the backbone of everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's talk
that's good.
about the live music experience because this is all about your upcoming, continuation of this tour. But if we go back again in your memory at the original tour, are there any moments from that tour that maybe make you laugh or maybe make you cringe when you think about them back in the day?
Well, back in the day, this is an album that for as long as it's been around, it's always made us a lot of friends along the way. So I can recall even from the year it came out, '93, that resulted in us going over to the Netherlands and to England and to Germany and playing in Europe for the first time. It was my first introduction to Texas music because Stevie Ray Vaughan's band, those guys heard that record and heard us play in that time and took us on tour, and I got invited to come down to Texas and
Wow.
played 500 pound shows in Texas with Stevie's band. So, I mean, that sort of shaped my trajectory from there. That's how we met the Allman Brothers. It's how we met the guys from Government Mule. It's how we met the Black Crows. It just, that one record just keeps on surprising us and making us friends all over the world.
Keeps on giving. Do playing, I mean, you're playing with a younger band now, which is cool. They sounded amazing. You guys are tight. Uh, do the songs feel a little bit different playing them now than they did back then?
Well, you give me too much credit for having a clear memory. And I'm not really making the comparison. I don't think that's a healthy thing to do as a creative person, as an artist, as a performer, because then you're recreating, you're not creating. Those songs are a platform for creativity and expression, and they always were. I mean, we played them the way we played them on the album that day, that week, that year.
And they
But
evolved,
even
right?
the following, the following week, if we were out playing those songs, they had some different swing to them, or they had some different context. And so our music's always been like that, where the songs are they're a template for expression. Oh, it's okay.
You already had your cappuccino, buddy.
I have a small child trying to try a quadraphonic espresso for the first time. I don't think that's going to work out for the parents.
Gonna be yeah, that's a little
Coffee shop interview. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, no, the songs. I surround myself with great creative people and skilled performers and intuitive performers. And we see our job, not just me, but we all, over the decades of the different guys I've played with, we interpret the thing and you have to breathe life into it and give it some purpose now, as opposed to trying to learn the songs from the record. Like, yeah, we listen to the record. You need to know what the bass line is and where that bass line comes from. And it has less to do with what was played than it is to have a knowledge of why it was played. Why was the song played this way? Okay, now you know the why, so now you do it with the why in mind. And so the guys bring their own personality to it, and yet you still recognize the songs. So that's the way to keep enjoying playing these songs from way back in my catalog, is that they feel of the moment.
yeah. And you said the why, but there's also the when. I think there's this theory that along the years there's a cycle between pop and rock where things are going good, so you're hearing a lot of pop is dominating. Then all of a sudden things in the world are going bad, and the rock resurgence comes up. And I think we're in this rock phase where people want to maybe vent their frustration a bit, and having these harder rocking songs allows us all to just let that breath out.
Well,
It's like,
yeah, I mean, it's a little early here, but wait till you hear our new record. I think when our new record comes out, you'll definitely know in what era it was written and recorded.
I heard there's a new record coming out, but I heard that there's not much more we can talk about.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's very close to completion, and it's part of an evolution of sound. But I will say that the fact that we got tapped on the shoulder by Jack White to re-release 500 pounds and like I said, reinvigorated, and rediscovering that music ourselves, not just the fans, but ourselves rediscovering that music and why it's relevant to us, really informed the new record too. I don't know what the new record would have sounded like if we hadn't been on the 500 pounds experience for the last almost 2 full years.
Hmm.
So it's timely.
That's great. You're obviously pretty open of meeting fans at your shows. You make yourself
Yeah.
available. Even your wife sometimes at the merch booth. Uh, have longtime fans maybe shared stories with you about what this album meant to them? Maybe something that stuck with you?
I mean, I know we keep coming back around to it, but honestly, the biggest thrill was having the conversation with Jack, where I realized it's not like, I mean, he's a big important guy in music and culture now, but he discovered that record when he was a teenager. He wasn't old enough to see us at a bar. He had to see us at a parking lot show that we did in Pontiac, Michigan. Jack and Meg, we're still in a freaking high school, man. That 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 was a great, like, I got to know about that it was like a fan confession. It's like, oh dude, I saw you when blah blah blah, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, I mean, whether you're a famous person or whether you're man on the street, whenever you heard that record, whatever it meant to you, you saw it on Much Music, you heard it for the first time. Some people are still just hearing it for the first time. All of those experiences are really relevant to us, and they invigorate us, and they keep us out here doing what we do, just to see people's response to it like it's something new. So all of those fan experiences, we love hearing about that stuff. It doesn't have to just be from our famous friends, I mean, it's everybody who got something from it that really means a lot to us, you know.
And what I saw at your show, uh, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're being exposed to a new generation because parents are taking their kids and wanting to share, like, you got to listen to this band, and the music is just as relevant today as it was back then. It hasn't shown the signs of aging that maybe I have. Not you, you're still look young.
Oh
And your
yeah,
wife, we gonna can't talk about your wife, but my wife said that her skin was like fantastic, and we talked about the secret about that after the show, after the interview last time.
we're vampires actually, you see, so we're not we don't
But yeah,
age.
no, the songs did not age. I mean, they still sound really relevant, and yet they're being introduced to younger fans. So I think that's also a really exciting time because hey, bring your kids, show them what good music sounds like versus all this AI crap right now.
Well, there's still a huge interest in guitars.
Hmm.
Big Sugar is pretty guitar heavy, and guitar, it can be pretty inspiring, I would think, for a young person picking up the guitar. There's there's a vast wasteland in popular music where if you're interested in guitar, there's nothing here for you. Whereas now the internet, some teenager can pick up their phone and find something inspiring and find something relevant, find some relevant guitar music from any era to dig into. I still do it. My kids send me stuff that I'm interested to hear, whether it's East African music, sub-Saharan blues guitar players, or old Frank Zappa bootlegs. I still get the phone's a great inspiration machine. It can be, you know what I mean. It can be a great time waster too. But I try to make point of every day gaining some inspiration from the phone, and this is something I picked up from a younger generation. That
I
you
hear you.
can use it as an inspiration machine. And my circle of friends, we send stuff back and forth all the time. I'm constantly, if I see something that really, really gets me going, man, first thing I do is share it to Warren Haynes or Chris Robinson or White or any of these people. It's like we're all still seeking inspiration.
I'd like to be on that list. We'll maybe work on that later, but I believe you because I'm a music explorer. I still am excited by new music. I'm still like finding out new stuff. There's a lot of mediocrity out there, but there's also some really good things coming out. And I know there's two camps, maybe more than two camps, but there's a camp of people that are stuck in a genre. They're maybe stuck in maybe the songs of their high school, and they just never get out of there. And they have a very narrow focus. And there's others like me where we have those classics that we like to go back and revisit. It's like our comfort food, but we also love to explore and find new stuff. And uh, I don't know. I think it's a great thing to be an explorer and to uh, not just rely on the algorithms, but really, you know, text each other things that you really find that excites you. Have a playlist of these are the songs I'm addicted to right now.
Well, and I think it's important to remember it's not always better because it's new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the 70s, I was already looking for old music. You know what I mean? I still, to this day, look for old music. I'm looking for old music I haven't heard. I want to hear and interpret the echoes of cultural expression from the past. I think that's a great way to always keep paying it forward. You know what I mean? And that doesn't make new music irrelevant. I don't find much to sink my teeth into in the realm of new artists. Occasionally, I do. I'm not saying you never do, but there's just there's a difference between reinterpreting and regurgitating. Like if I hear something that's retro to a fault, it's like becomes so on purpose, just the sum of its influences and not saying anything new with that. You know what I mean?
I
Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like Jimi Hendrix wasn't doing something new. He was doing something old. He listened to Muddy Waters or Buddy Guy or all the music he was listening to, but it came out sounding like something new.
yeah.
And same with, you could just name all the classics, Led Zeppelin, The Cream, any of those artists, the Rolling Stones. Yeah, they had very, very strong influences and they were really proud of them, but they did do something new with it.
They made it their own. They gave it
Yeah.
their fingerprint, so to speak.
Yeah, so to me, someone who's trying to copy the Rolling Stones or trying to copy Led Zeppelin with no knowledge of where that music came from, it's like, why don't you go dig up if you love Led Zeppelin, go dig up their influences and see what it does to you and see if you come up maybe you'll come up with the same ingredients. That meal will taste completely different because it's you. But if you're busy trying to get the drum sound off a Led Zeppelin record, it's like, guy, you've lost the plot already.
Speaking of like bands that maybe you've liked, is there a band that you toured with back then or even now that maybe left a lasting impression on you? You mentioned some of the bands that you've played with. You've mentioned, the Stevie Ray
Yeah.
Vaughan guys. Is there maybe somebody that you opened up for or something, or that opened up for you that just really knocked it out for you?
Um, wow, it's too many to mention. I think every band that we've encountered along the way, I mean, as much bands who, to be honest, bands who've opened for us have also given us a great deal of inspiration and enthusiasm. Seeing a younger band come up that's, still got a hunger and a naivete about it, and they're unself-conscious about what they're putting out there. They're just leaving it all out on the stage. They're trying so hard. We've seen so many bands over the years that have just really got us inspired. Just around that energy is really great. Probably more so than the bands we've opened for. As an opening act,
Because
I would say our opening acts have probably given us more than the other way around.
it's that energy that just like you said, giving it their all because this is possibly their big break or their opportunity to play in front of a bigger crowd than normal. So
Yeah,
keep it going.
that could be it.
Again, thank you so much, Gordie. I thought this was going to be a 5 minute interview, but I always enjoy talking to you. I always enjoy where you take the conversation, and we look forward to seeing you play again these shows in Quebec. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm definitely going to hopefully see if I can make one of these shows yet again. This is
I
good for
hope you
repeat
can.
listening.
I hope you can make it. This will sort of be the end of the 500 pounds shows for us, where we're doing the entire record and then a whole bunch of other songs as well, obviously. But this will kind of be the end of that as we get ready to transition into a new record. We're actually going to be doing some Hemivision nights throughout the balance of the year. I think there's one of those coming up in Ontario, and then a bunch more in the late fall, just sort of to tide us over. We recently did a show with Gov't Mule, and because they do I mean, they're this huge jam band, and they do a completely different set every night. Like, they won't repeat a song for a month. They have such an incredible catalog. So the pressure, when you play with Gov't Mule, the pressure's on to, you can't just walk out there and flex your hits. It's like, you got to put on a real
Deep
show, man.
cuts, deep cuts.
Deep cuts. So because Warren was a big Hemivision fan, the last time we played with the Mule, we did an entire Hemivision set, nothing from any other record, just Hemivision songs. Man, that was so much fun, and it got such a great reaction. So now we're going to do a bunch of Hemivision shows, which is a whole other conversation, but hopefully we can do some of those in Quebec before the new record comes out. Because once the new record comes out, we'll definitely be out, you know, doing that for a while.
Yeah.
So
And I guess if you want to have the full experience, find an old 70s car, and just like drive to the venue with like a hot rod or some American muscle car and just get the full experience of the Big Sugar sound and the reminiscent of all those album covers that are so great.
Right on, man.
Anyway, thanks for joining us today.
Great talking to you again, man. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.